G'day guys and welcome back to Dill SuperCoach. Checking in here from Cefalù, Sicily, Italy. So got the full screen going just so I can show you where I'm at right now. I'll show you guys my balcony. Oh, look at that, guys. How bloody good. How bloody good. But I brought my laptop along so I can keep punching out SuperCoach content and delivering some updates to you guys as well. So I love the game and I wouldn't stop doing it and sharing with you guys, especially in this pointy part of the season. So just bear with me. Also, I'm just on the one screen too, so I'm going to usually have multiple screens going when I'm at home, but I'm going to make do with what I've got. And yeah, just bear with me. If I'm talking to something and it's not on screen or you're getting something cut off, yeah, just bear with me. It's just have to make do with what I've got. So let me jump into how I went this round. So I went the 2-3-7-6 this round. That put me in the top 24% for this week. And also season rank, bit of a dip there to 16.6 thousand. Still have the 5 trades left. I was tempted to do a trade during the week, but I pulled the reverse Uno card on that when I saw Butters go down. So, and I'll speak to obviously that the Butters trades and that specifically will be the main talking point of the video. But I'll also go into how I went as well this week. Okay, so this is how I lined up this week. So starting in my defense, I went Naz as my VC, which I took. So really happy with that. Had I not gone Naz, I would have gone into Gorn, so I would have lost out on some points there. And yeah, really stoked with the Naz captaincy. Jordan Clark, this was a game. The Sydney Fremantle game was one that I was catching the scores in between going from Rome to Sicily, and yeah, I feel like Clark was on 90 at halftime and killing it. So yeah, bit of a disappointing score in the end in terms of where he landed, but look, I'm taking 96 anyway from him. But I was hoping if he got that 120, 130, 140 even, bit of a spike would have been so helpful for us, but not to be. Blakey 109, solid score from Blakey. He's had a couple of down weeks, so good to get that from him. Houston 83, did a bit better in AFL fantasy, which he tends to do. So you're hoping for a better score than that, but it is what it is. Edwards is someone that had to line up for me, considering, you can see on the far right there, Whitfield and Hawker Hahn were out for me. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. Let me make that smaller. My bad, guys. Hence, on the one screen, right? Bear with me. Have some patience. I'll make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, um, yeah, Whitfield and Hawker Hahn were out for me. Whitfield obviously with the concussion, hopefully 1 week. Hawker Hahn being managed. So I actually lined up this week with 22 players, not 23. I guess it's the benefit of having the flex. So yeah, I don't regret it. If Butters didn't go down with the injury, I would have actually traded in Sicily, which he didn't actually do that well anyway. So yeah, we'll see how we go for this week and what trade plans I have. But I knew this week I'd be a bit of a down week and really hoping I come home with a wet sale with these extra trades to trade out some injured players or suspended players, etc. So that was pretty much the defense in a nutshell. Nick Dacos, 121, super consistent, especially as of late. So loving his work, as well as Dawson, 116. Take that. Butters is the big talking point this week with the injury in 87. He's done reasonably well to not lose too much cash, so sitting at 600,000. We'll speak to trade plans with him in a little bit. I think he's out for 4+. He might come back for 1 or 2 games at the back end of the season, probably just to see himself off from his tenure at Port more than anything. And look, Port have been playing reasonably well. I don't think it'll be a finals push, but you just never know. Bont, my first spike score, I think, with Bont, having him in my team. I'm so happy with that. Heaney down game. Really need Heaney to fire, as well as LDU 83, Callahan 86. A lot of mid primos going mid. I think I mentioned in the live with Nemo. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Walsh, the one person I have much little as little faith in, or the least faith in, sorry, my mids. He actually went pretty well, 125. So definitely take that. Sharpie 64. He's one that was going to pull the trigger on trading him out in that trade for Sicily, but clearly kept him now. Going up in price, and his break even should reset as well. Handy forward cover, bit of DPP action that I can use with him. So yeah, look, happy to have him, but he might go as early as the next 1 to 2 weeks. So we'll wait and see on that. Ison's just going, just a bit of a life, just a bit of a pulse on the bench, not really doing much else. Banfield's still not playing. Gone, yeah, disappointing score from Gone in the end. I thought he'd be doing a lot better than this against Richmond. I was expecting 140, 150 at a minimum, even bigger than that. Me and Nemo were saying we're hoping him to go 200 for Nemo, but not to be. But yeah, really expected more from Gorn in that matchup. Cherry bounce back game. Love to see this. I don't think many people. Let's have a look at his ownership. 20%. Okay. Yeah, 20%. Sorry, I know you guys can't see that, but yeah, 20% owned for Cherry. So yeah, if he's a bit of a point of difference, not massive point of difference, but definitely in not well in a fifth of teams. So we'll take that bounce back. Whether he bounces, keeps this up moving forward, don't know. He could score as little as 60, 70, 80 next week, and it probably should all balance itself out. But yeah, happy that he had a bounce back game. Absolutely. Sheezy, 107. Expected probably more from him, but he's been shooting the lights out, so he's it's okay going 107 in your forward line, and we sort of take for granted what he's been doing all season. Um, but yeah, Sheezy consistent as ever. Not his highest score, but still consistent. Horn Francis 91. Yeah, little bit of a down game from him. He has been going flat chat hundreds. Interesting to see what happens now with him. Clearly, you can see there he's got the suspension red flag on him. He's got the 1 week suspension offered to him. Interesting to see if Port challenge that or not. I can probably speak to once I do my sort of future plans for this upcoming week, whether he gets the 1 week or not, or holds that suspension, sorry, or challenges it. I'll let you know what my plans are. But yeah, with just more broadly with the Butters injury, expecting Horn France to take more of the lion's share of the CBAs and expect him to get a, probably, I wouldn't say a higher market share per se, but he'll need to be playing pretty much pure mid for Port moving forward for the rest of the season whilst Butters is out. And I would be expecting him to score to be going up, averaging probably that 110, 115 mark, I would have thought. Now, yes, granted, the tag will probably come to him. If they're going to tag anyone, it'll definitely be him. He's got no other running mates with him at that uber sort of primo level, that Rosie Butters level. So we'll see what happens as it relates to the impact on Horn Francis with Butters' injury, but I expect him to be scoring higher at this point in time at least. Durham 106, mate. He's the only one doing anything in the Essendon team. So stoked to have Does. And yeah, not sure what all of his other teammates are doing, but is what it is. I'm glad I was yeah, enjoying my time in Europe and not able to watch the Brisbane and Essendon game, being an Essendon fan. So Romo, I'm really stoked with the trade in from Romo a couple of weeks back, 122. Still TBC on TDK when he's going to come back. I think there's been some positive information coming from both TDK and Ross Lyon saying he wants to come back ASAP. Now, coming back ASAP and wanting to come back ASAP is a different story than being medically cleared from a punctured lung and some broken ribs. So we'll see. And look, the Saints are going pretty well without him. So look, they don't necessarily need to bring him back anytime soon. And yeah, Romo's obviously the beneficiary being Sol Ruck. Cozzy Pickett, 93, was expecting more from him against the Tigers. A little bit similar to the Gorn story. So I didn't catch that game, so not sure what happened. But at least he didn't get 55 like Petrarca. What an absolute top Brownlow, fancy in the first 3 rounds. I think I even called it myself. And wow, what a fall from grace for Petrarca. I'm not sure what's going on with the Suns team. Noah Anderson, Rao, Took Miller, all in the same boat. They're all unders at the moment, and yeah, out of form. I'm not sure what's going on there. Not sure how Dim's going to turn that around, but that's for him to work out and not for me. But I'd be steering clear of all Suns players for the moment. And coming 59, still in my flex spot. Look, probably now in hindsight, maybe I should have got the 5 trades here. Probably should have gone down to 3 and upgraded coming to someone. Don't know who would have gone to, but just someone. Yeah, like a Zach Bailey, for example, or a Wilkie, someone that I could easily afford going up from, a one up, one down from coming, but it is what it is. I've now got how much rounds we got? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 6 rounds to go with 5 trades. I'll definitely use one for Butters, but um, yeah, not the worst position to be in. I just won't be able to do a double upgrade, I guess you could call it. I can't do a sideways of Butters and then do another upgrade on the other end. So my upgrade probably has to wait one more week. That's okay. I probably can maybe, if I wanted to, consider getting in Franco from the perspective that he's played 2 games, and also um, the fact that he's on the bubble and Cummings, I'm not saying losing cash, but his break evens, yeah, well, he's on 86, so probably is one that I can consider, coming down to Franco, banking that cash, and then going Butters to someone. All right. So that's pretty much how I went this week. Definitely a down week. Now, if I just focus on the Butters trades and options, I might just get up. Instead of doing trade for me personally, I think I'm going to talk about it more broadly, the options for everybody. Let me just make sure. All right, hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right. So I filtered here for mids. I filtered here for total points. I'll go average. So I think your priority should be getting in an Uber mid primo. Now, Butters is 600,000. You're going to be able to afford, either all with downgrades. You're able to afford Baz, you're able to afford Heaney, you're able to afford Bont. Dawson's not too much more to get to. Though that is the crop of people that I'd be looking at if you have Butters and you have a trade handy to move him. Now, if you don't have, if you have extra money and some money in your kitty, you got the Dacos and Nas of the world. If you don't have Dacos or Nas, I'd definitely be going Nas, just because of that mid def swing that he can give you, as well as just the run that the Saints are on at the moment. And to finish season, they're pretty good as well. So I'd be ranking it going Nas number one, Dacos number two, and then your Baz, your Heaney, your Bont, your Jordan Dawson. You can't really separate them. I think Baz Smith has the best run home by way of opponents. Um, but at the end of the day, you need to replace Butters with an Uber Primo. You can't be, I don't think, stuffing around with that. Now, when I say don't stuff around, there's other options clearly, some more pod options. I like Neil. I like Holmes. I do not like Merritt. He played shocking today. He's got one foot out the door, so do not go him. Noah Anderson, do not go. In my opinion, the Suns are in a world of hurt at the moment, so would not go him. Will Ashcroft is an interesting one. Just went the 174 against the Bombers. Um, yeah, that was always going to happen. Not the 174, sorry, just the big score. Um, so if I'm set, let's talk Neil versus Ashcroft. They're very much, I wouldn't say the same player, but they've got the same opponents coming up. Neil's probably more tag worthy and more susceptible to a tag than Ashcroft. Ashcroft is obviously in a clear vein of form at the moment. Um, Look, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Neil just because he has that pedigree as a super coach player. Um, Whereas Ashcroft is a more of a, I want to call him a stat pad. He's obviously a very skilled player, but his impact on the game, I think Neil's is better than Ashcroft's. However, having said that, you can't really go wrong with those two boys. I think they're both going to go well for the rest of the season. Um, Other options, Ed Richards just had a 133 against the West Coast Eagles. I don't think I put Richards in the same bracket as Neil and Ashcroft. I think I'd rate those guys higher. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much everyone worth speaking about. I would not go Finn. He's been such a frustrating own. I would not go Walsh. I would also probably not go Andy, but Andy's probably more of that pod option. Um, Something to consider. I would not go Newcomb. His ceilings just scores just aren't there. Clearly not going Taranto. So those are the mid. options in a word. Now, mind you, you might have swings for Butters where you can move Butters, trade Butters, and then bring a Naz down or a Holmes down, then get a defender in. And similarly, you can trade out Butters and then move a Durham or a Petrarca or a Sheasel into your mids to then get a forward. So if we look at those options as well, I'll look at some def options. So I've already spoken about Naz, so I'm not going to cover him off. I think I did start touch on Holmes as well. Holmes is the one for me if you need a quote unquote defender. Rate Holmes. Ash is also good. Roberts is an interesting one, bit of a pod play, but just with Essendon being so terrible, I would not go there. Look, I think for defenders, simply put, I would say Holmes, Naz, Holmes, and Ash in that order. Wilkie is an interesting one, just coming off a 191. Look, you can go there. He's at 20% owned. Yeah, I wouldn't hold anyone against it. Just coming off 191. What bad thing can I say about Wilkie? So um, yeah, go your hardest. For forwards, what are we looking at here? Zach Bailey. Yeah, just outright gun. I think he was a bit sore by way of his hamstrings, if not mistaken. Clearly played the whole game, I think, against, I'm not sure what his tog was, but um, he's a good pick. Horn Francis, clearly suspension, so you wouldn't trade him in if he's suspended for a week, but so I watch on him. Zach Bailey, I rate. Um, Chad is okay. I think there's better options. Brad Hill's an interesting one, so that's a very potty play. 3% owned. He's been going at 136. Um, that's pretty crazy, going at 136 for his last three average. So yeah, between him and Romo, if I'm choosing between him and Romo, I'd probably go Romo just based on, you know, solidified role. Now, yes, if TDK comes back in 2-3 weeks, yes, I'd probably flick that across to Brad Hill and rate him a bit higher. But in terms of forward options, I'd go Zach Bailey would be probably my number one, followed closely by Romo and Brad Hill. So there's all the options, guys. In terms of me personally, what I'm doing, so I can get into that now. So go back to my team. How's it looking, your guys? And sorry again, I'm on the one screen, so I don't know how it looks. Yeah, that's all right. All right, cool. So for me, I at this stage believe I'm going Baz Smith. Out of the big dogs, he's the one that I don't have in the mids. Now, my only other thought would be, do I go Max Holmes because of the swing? I don't mind that as well. Um, but I think if I'm wanting a uber primo coming in, Baz Smith is the one. So I'm gonna lock him in. So that's me done for the Butters trade. I think the only other person that I consider putting in that spot will be Max Holmes. Um, I'll bring Lockie Whitfield back on field, expecting him to play. Hall Kahan, I can bring him on field. I expect him to be playing, hopefully. I know he's managed, but we'll see. Midfield's looking good. Obviously, sad to lose Butters, but looking pretty good. Horn Francis is an interesting one. So if he does not get named, I could go Sharpie in just for the sake of having, I guess, yeah, a pulse there. And then regarding the other trade that I may make, clearly Cumming is topped out and he's going to be going down in money. Look, I don't want to be wasting, quote unquote, wasting trades. I don't consider this a wasted trade, but it's sort of setting me up for an upgrade next week. At the end of the day, if I don't trade out Cumming now, if he doesn't get a spike score next week, I'm quite likely to lose money on him. And Franco is probably someone that I have, I guess, some faith in fielding. So if I need to, so I go Franco there. And this is just setting me up for one final upgrade next week, which will leave me with two trades. So that could give me someone like, I can't do it right now, but someone like a Hawker Hahn or an Edwards going up from them. getting myself a D6, which I don't know who will be at this stage, but and then toggling between Franco. Let's say I keep Hawker Hahn, say, and toggling between Hawker Hahn and Franco in terms of a 23rd scorer. That's probably how I'll line up for the rest of the season. Probably go down to 2 trades next week. Look, it's been all well and good to hold on to the 5 trades, but at the same time, my rank is sort of starting to drift now. The strategy was to try and catch people at the back end, and at the end of the day, Butters is gone. People are probably going to use their one last trade on him. They're probably going to go down to 1 or 2, maybe 0 now. I've still got 3. Could upgrade next week, then left with 2. I could also, if I'm being honest, I could also just ride Cumming and then not trade in Franco. That's also a possibility as well, because I might just take stock of another week of information, go into, which is, this is round 18 coming up, I believe, if not mistaken, or maybe it's round 19, sorry. Anyway, the more information, the more things that happen during the week, and I get to the end of the week, each round is getting closer towards my risk profile. Well, it's reducing my risk profile to having an injured player in my team and having no trades. So at the end of the day, I'm just finding that balance between hitting go on those trades and holding out. We had a Butters injury this week. Next week it might be Sheasel, it might be Dacos, it might be Naz. It could be a really, really popular player that a lot of other teams can't trade those players out because they've just run out of their trades already. So, and obviously we are protected by being best 23, so you can go down to one non-playing player. I did it obviously this week. So yeah, just toggling between that at the moment. And in terms of captains for this week, Baz Smith might be an interesting one on the Thursday game. So I might pop him in at for there. We got actually Romo might be an interesting one. Romo against Edwards might be an interesting one. I don't think many people have Romo. Let me check his ownership. He's owned by 6%. So if I want to get risky, it's not really risky, but if I just want to get different, I can do that. Is there a safe fallback option if I go Romo? Is there a safe fallback option? It's not really sticking out to me. Dacos against Carlton, maybe. Heaney and Dawson are versing each other. Sheasel against Demons. Gorn and Cherry are playing each other, so I'm assuming that won't be good for either of them, but we'll see. I reckon Gorn will probably get the better of him, being a Tat Ruckman. Yeah, it's a hard one. I might go Romo. I think I'll take the risk on Romo. I could also go Naz. Naz has been, lights out recently. So tossing up between Naz, Baz Smith, and Romo. I'll keep it as Romo for now because again, if I can get a leg up on other people, that's probably my only avenue to do it, or one of few avenues to do it. And then I might just go Dacos for the moment as C, as a safe fullback, if Romo fails. So that's how I'll likely line up guys this week. Probably a question mark on if I go Franco coming from Franco. Sorry, apologies, Franco from coming. But yeah, let me know how you guys went this round. Let me know what trades you're thinking of doing. Let me know what your Butters plans are. I didn't touch on Horfrance, but yeah, obviously not specifically touched on him in great detail. But I moved him obviously to my bench. I won't move him if it's in 1 weeker. It'd just be absolutely pointless. So, but yeah, clearly I've got cover through the sharp DPP swing, so that's good. And that's pretty much me, mate, as it relates to how I'll line up. So I might leave it there. And before I let you guys go, I might just go back to full screen just for the moment. And show you guys the view again, eh? Just so you can get amongst it as well. There you go, guys. That's me. Thanks for tuning in. And hope you went well this week. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.